The echoes of the Friday Zelensky-Trump meeting in Washington still sound loud and clear, as the meeting did not bring desired outcomes for Ukraine after a surprise phone call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Today, the Financial Times reported that Trump urged Zelensky to accept Putin's terms or be destroyed. Elisabeth Braw, senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, joins me now to discuss the Washington meeting and what comes next in light of everything that unraveled. Elisabeth, thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Thank you.
So let's take a look at an excerpt from Financial Times. This is the information that we received within the minutes before World News Tonight went on air. Donald Trump urged Volodymyr Zelensky to accept Russia's terms for ending its war in a volatile White House meeting, warning that Vladimir Putin had said he would destroy Ukraine if it did not agree. The meeting between the U.S. and Ukrainian presidents descended many times into a shouting match, with Trump cursing all the time. Some incredibly worrisome information coming from the Financial Times. What do you make of this?
Well, if it is accurate, what the Financial Times is reporting, obviously we only have this one source, but the Financial Times is a highly credible news outlet, then that is very worrying. And it's almost as if what Donald Trump is referring to is the situation Ukraine faces without Western assistance. But of course, there is Western countries can make a difference. Namely, they can help Ukraine change that situation so that it has a better chance of defending its territory, including the territory that's currently held by the Russians. So it sounds like President Trump has had a significant change of mind since he last spoke about the war in Ukraine, and one can only surmise what might have triggered that change of mind. But the phone call with President Putin, we must assume, has a role in that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the White House actually expected this piece of information to be leaked to the media? Are we going to see potentially another change in narrative coming from the White House, or this might be something that we're going to find out in days to come that is actually true, especially considering the meetings between the U.S. and Russian delegations which are supposed to take place?
Well, we don't know whether the Trump administration suspected or assumed that this might be leaked to the media, but information this important, I think, is just bound to be leaked to the media, simply because it's too important to be withheld from a global public. If the U.S. has shifted its position on how and whether to help Ukraine, and indeed is telling Ukraine that the Ukrainian armed forces, the Ukrainian government, should sign some sort of agreement with Russia without further attempts to win back territory, then that is a major piece of information. And I think any senior official, policymaker would, of any sort of stature and experience, would realize that such information is likely to be leaked to media.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that President Zelensky should actually accept and give up the occupied territories if this would mean peace for Ukraine?
Well, the people who get to decide are the Ukrainians themselves, and President Zelensky, his government, and the parliament. And what we in the West can do is not tell Ukraine what to do, but support the Ukrainians with whatever they need us to support them with, because that's what we would expect from other countries. If our own countries, had the misfortune of being attacked and invaded by another country, we would not take kindly to other countries telling us what to do, but we would hope that they would assist us, because it's what one does as a human being when somebody is attacked, and it's what one does as a country, and as a country one has that responsibility under the United Nations Charter.
The general feeling seems to be that over the last few days there's been a lot of confusion when it comes to those talks, those meetings that have taken place. At the NATO General Assembly, President Trump said he is sure Ukraine can win back the land it lost. Now he suggested that Ukraine should let go, that both sides should finish at the finish lines, and now we get this information from the Financial Times, which we need to stress again. This is not yet confirmed, so we need to keep a bit of caution at the back of our heads. What do you think happened during that phone call between Trump and Putin to lead to this conversation that took place at the White House on Friday and to this outcome that we're seeing right now?
So if this information is accurate, again, the Financial Times is a very credible news outlet, but we don't have any other sources describing this meeting yet. But if the information is correct, then again, we must assume that President Putin managed to somehow get points across to President Trump that made him change his mind. As you say, it wasn't that long ago that he said that he thought Ukraine could win back all the territory currently held by Russia, and now he's saying just sign and cut your losses, sign an agreement and cut your losses. So that is a major shift in thinking, and I think this is the challenge that Western allies or Western countries have, or indeed all countries have, in their conversations, in their dealings with the United States, that it's unclear what the current policy position is at any given moment. Ordinarily, you get the position communicated to you by senior officials, and that is what the president thinks, and that they have collectively made their minds up. But now we are never really sure what the United States position is, and for how long that is going to remain the U.S. position. And for Ukraine, that's obviously a highly undesirable situation to be in, to not know where from one day to the next, where the United States stands on assistance to Ukraine, and indeed on how the war should end.
There's an interesting quote from President Trump that I would like to bring. Quote, "I've been played all my life by the best of them, and I came out really well," Trump said. He added, "I think I'm pretty good at this stuff." Do you agree with Donald Trump, or is Donald Trump being played by Vladimir Putin for time?
Well, there is... Donald Trump is clearly good at negotiations, but there is a difference between somebody who has conducted business negotiations for a long time and uses what he knows from that field in the world of politics, and somebody who has been the leader of a major country for a quarter century. Vladimir Putin has seen a lot of Western leaders come and go. He has outlasted them all, also because Russia is not a democracy. But he has outlasted them all. He has seen a lot of them. He has been in many talks, negotiations, and so forth. I mean, he's an old fox. He is a clever man, and we shouldn't respect him, but we should bear in mind, we as Western countries, in our talks and negotiations, dealings with him, that there is a reason he has lasted that long, because it's not for lack of other alternatives within Russia. He has managed to retain his position. Despite Russia not being a democracy, there have been opportunities for others to unseat him. He has been in power for 25 years, or even longer at this point. Mm-hmm. And he has seen a lot of Western leaders. He knows how to deal with them. And clearly he is using those skills to his advantage.
Elisabeth, very quickly, just to finish off, if invited, do you think that Zelensky should go to Budapest, or is there a risk that Budapest is going to become Anchorage 2.0?
I think, well, first of all, it's up to President Zelensky, and if there is a meaningful conversation to be had in Budapest, and first of all, if President Putin decides to speak with or negotiate with President Zelensky directly, then there may be there may be reason to go. But as we all know, President Putin has refused all this time to negotiate directly with President Zelensky because he views him as not a legitimate leader, because he doesn't view Ukraine as a legitimate country. So if he were to decide to view him as a legitimate leader with whom he is willing to negotiate, then there may be gains to be won in going to Budapest. But I think that's a question that still has not been answered.
And unfortunately, we'll have to put a full stop there. Elisabeth, thank you so much for joining me. Elisabeth Braw, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council, was my guest on World News Tonight. And so this would be all for now. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska, and I hope to see you back here on TVP World for more news and features in just a moment.